with our Boy Meets Girl 101. My name is Mrs. Lydia Bacho and I'm the co-founder of Boy Meets Girl 101. We're happy to have you on our January live session. Let's see who will be the first. Hi, Goldust is the first to join us. Beautiful. Beautiful. Thank you for joining us, Goldust. Thank you for joining us, Goldust. Okay, Gifty has also joined us. You're welcome. This is a January edition of Let's Keep It with our Boy Meets Girl 101. My husband is also here. Good to have you all on. Thank you for joining us. Let's get a few more people on. Hi, Sam. Thank you for joining us. Whilst we wait for a few others to join us, I'd like to acknowledge our sponsors. Today, we're going to be talking about nurturing personal growth in career and relationships. And we have no other than our seasoned coach to do this for us. She's already here and we'll begin in a moment. Our sponsors who help us to bring this conversation to you month on month. You can also help us. Just DM me and I'll tell you how easily and in a few steps you can sponsor us to bring this conversation to so many more people. Beauty Within Haven, their beauty parlor in Tema Community 10. Original Borai, they make clothes for all occasions. Volta Mats, from the farm to your plate. Fresh food all over the world they ship. Volta Mat, fragrances and more GH, smell good on a budget. Perfumes, body splashes, you name it. Picture magic, photos for all your events and occasions, your personal shots, everything, they will do it for you. Of course, Apavon Concept, they do all my flyers and they will help you with the branding solutions that you have been waiting for. Be Nice Catering Services, they are also a restaurant in Tema Community 5 and they have the yummiest dishes for all your events and personal meals. Wild West African, your tech savvy solution. Pounds World, all the gifting solutions that you have been looking forward to. Triple Treat GH, customized chocolates. Well, I'll say just around the corner. There are loads of birthdays coming your way. You can customize some chocolates for your loved ones. Juice Spot, fresh yummy juices for all locations. Jira Events. Yeah, what event do you have coming up? They will plan it for you, simple and nice. Today, we have a coach with us, a career guidance coach, a licensed counselor, and she's going to be talking about nurturing personal growth in career and relationships. You don't want to miss any part of it. Share this to your friends, to your DMs, to your story. Ask everybody you know to join because it's a very important conversation to have in the first month of the year 2024 where we're going to blossom and flourish. I will add a coach now and we'll get right into it. Simpson, thank you so much for joining us. We will begin the conversation with Coach shortly, and it's going to be an amazing one. You would love it. You spend your evening in the most productive way possible. Our coach is here. Hello, Coach.
Hello. Hello.
How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Yourself?
I'm good. Thank you very much. And it's so good to have you on. Thank you for joining
So
us.
good to be here.
Okay.
It's great to
So
be
we want
here.
to get right into it. If you can briefly tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay, so I'm going to keep it very
Sure.
brief. My name is Coach Dickson, also known as Coach Dickson. I'm an HR consultant. I particularly focus on recruitment, training, and then also HR advisory. And then also, I'm a licensed professional counselor, and then also a career coach. So anything to do with career development, and then also personal development, you find me there. I'm the founder and owner of Career Hub GH, where we offer different kind of career services, HR services, and also mental health support services. So for now, this is just a little bit about Coach Dickson.
Yes. And can you tell us about your pages as well so that everybody can get it from the onset?
All right. So my personal page is Coach Dickson with a double N at the end. So at Coach Dickson on Instagram. After here, kindly follow me. I'll give you a follow back. And then also my business page is Career Hub GH. Also on Instagram, also on Facebook. I'm also on TikTok as Coach Dickson with just one N. So connect with me on all those pages as well.
Yeah, that's great. And you learn a lot. You learn a lot because I have been following her for some years now, and it's amazing the content she puts out there for free. So imagine how much more you get when you actually pay her to do something with you. We have done some work with her, and she's superb. Like, she's the best at what she does, and you definitely need to link up with her. So, Coach, today we're going to talk about nurturing personal growth. in careers and relationships, two of your strongholds. I mean, you double in both. And
Yeah.
I think that it is a very big area where, as we begin a new year full of zeal, ready to conquer and do the most, we need to get this right. And we're
Yeah.
so honored to have you here with us to do this. Thank you so much. So,
Thank you for
Coach,
having me. I'm very delighted to be here as well.
sure. We've had you on before and you blew our minds. So people, I'm promising you that you are in the best place for this 1 hour that you're going to be here with us. Coach, what is personal growth?
Okay, so I mean, I like to break things down and then put them back
Okay.
together. So when we talk about personal growth, we are looking at one word here, personal, and another word, growth. Anything that has to do with growth is about change. If something is growing, it means that it's not going to remain the same. So when we talk about personal growth, we are, basically or simply talking about a continuous process of investing in yourself towards your self improvement, using very growth driven activities or strategies to ensure that you move from one point to another or one level to another.
Amazing. So
And
in our
making
career,
sure it's
yeah,
very relating to you, it's
yeah,
personalized to you,
yeah.
yes.
So what the personal growth for one person won't be the same as the personal growth for another person.
Definitely, definitely, definitely. What looks like personal growth for me will be very different from what looks like personal growth for you,
Yeah.
because we may prioritize different things.
Exactly.
You may put a lot of emphasis on some areas, whereas I may put some emphasis on some areas which are not the same. So definitely, personal growth is not the same for
This
people.
one. Okay. So in career, what would personal growth look like generally?
Okay, all right. So interestingly enough, the meaning of a career is your life's course.
Okay.
So they are very woven together. Your personal growth is very woven into your career growth.
Okay.
So in pursuing a career, your growth is going to look like you having a very defined sense of self, you understanding yourself. Okay, that means increased self awareness,
Okay.
and then knowing what your values are, because that is
Okay.
what is going to help you in the course of your career. Understanding your personality, which is linked to the increased sense of self. Because if you understand who you are, your makeup, your emotional makeup, all of that, it helps you too. And then also your interests. What are the things that you like? What are the things that you dislike? What are the things that motivate you? All of those things, when you put it together, helps you to grow within a career. So somebody who is focused in their career will push for personal growth and will see it, show in the career.
Oh, okay. Okay. So would that be the same for personal growth in relationships, or there will be some differences?
The honest truth is that when we are talking about when we are talking about career or relationships, it's going to be the same person. So the personal growth you are experiencing in your life
Mm.
is going to be seen in your relationships, it's going to be seen in your career. But then the impact is what will show the difference. Okay,
Okay.
so the impact will be seen as being positive or being negative. And then we can now trace and find out what have you been prioritizing on your personal growth journey. So for somebody, they may be prioritizing spirituality,
Mm.
and then that's the only thing they're focused on. Meanwhile, you want your career to grow, but you remember that you have to balance it out. You do the spiritual side, and then you do the work,
Okay.
upskill yourself,
Okay.
build your skills, both soft skills and hard skills. In a relationship too, for example, you can't leave it all to, let's say, one aspect of you. Um, let's say you're all career focused, and then you haven't developed your emotional well-being, okay, or you haven't developed your resilience, you haven't developed, your interpersonal skills. Definitely, you are going to see that there's a gap there.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So you can't just be moving by faith that say I'm spirituals and my career, the promotions will come, the new doors, the CV will write itself, and
Unfortunately, even in the Bible, it says, "Give unto Caesar what belongs to Caesar." So you have
and
to
faith
balance it
without
out.
works is dead.
Exactly. So even God will be looking at you like, are you okay? Come on, do the work. Do the work and apply the faith, you know. So no, you can't just go by one aspect of your, let's say, growth process and expect all the other aspects to work it out. There must be a balance.
Okay. But in relationships, sometimes I would think that, oh, I'm so beautiful, or somebody would think they are so good in bed, or they are rich, so it should be enough. Is that the case? Is that the case?
The honest truth is that when it comes to relationships, I would say we should always go back to what are your needs. You know, I feel like in every kind of process. So, for example, even in your career development, what are your needs? So, in relationship, what needs are you looking to be met?
Yeah.
You know, in the relationship, because you're not relating to yourself, you're relating to another person. So, what are you looking for the person to fulfill in you? Okay, it's very important. So, if for you it's all about sex, is it enough for you? Is that all that there is? Don't you have other needs? Don't you have emotional needs? Don't you have spiritual needs? Don't you have the need for companionship, you know, conversation? I mean, all of those things must come together. That is why it's actually called a relationship. So there must be that interpersonal exchange of needs. What do you need me for? And what do I need you for in the relationship? That is where we can now, you know, meet each other and have a great relationship.
Okay. Okay, great. Coach, would you say that our personal, let's say, our personal growth in our career would affect our personal growth in our relationship and vice versa, or they can both exist on their own?
Well, there is no yes or no because they feed off each
Each
other.
other. Okay.
Okay, the personal growth, let me say, the personal growth is like the tree. Every other growth is like the branch. So your career growth takes a lot from your personal growth. Because if you know you are not putting a lot of priority into your personal growth, it's going to reflect badly on your career growth. Some people beg to differ when it comes to that, but I say that whatever you are on your personal growth journey reflects on your, you know, career journey. So it's a very let me say they play into each other.
Okay.
So your personal growth can affect your career growth, and then your career growth can also affect your personal growth, and the effect can be positive or it can be negative. So for example, if you are somebody who is a very you're not such a great public speaker, for example, and you haven't built self-awareness to identify that this is a gap that I have, okay, and I'm pursuing a position, I'm looking out for promotion, and this promotion comes with me doing a lot of presentations as a leader and meeting with teams, meeting with the top management to do all kinds of presentation, and you haven't found this gap that you lack or this gap that needs to be filled, you realize that you'll be doing yourself a disservice. Maybe on paper you are good for the job, you know, but then there's something you're lacking because you haven't put a lot of priority into that aspect of your personal growth. So you find out that maybe another person will get a job and you may be found, you know, on the other side of not getting the job.
Okay. But coach, how do we balance the two? Because let's say I'm a single mom. I'm ready to do the work, but there's also the aspect where I need to also give some good attention to my child. How can we balance the two? Or I'm 30 plus, or I'm really bent on getting married. So my relationship is also calling me. Like there are times I put a question on the page where I was asking that, would you cancel a date again with your partner, or and stay late and do some work that has come up, or you would go out and then say like, hey, I'll do it tomorrow, it should wait. Like, you know, how can we balance the two so that it's not like you're being all career woman or you're being all, and you know, sometimes people will just sit back and think that because you're so big on one thing, you cannot do another thing, especially when women start having children. People think that, oh no, don't give them this promotion, they can't do it, give it to the man, they don't have young children. Even when men have young children, they still get the promotion. over the woman, because she has to, how can we balance the two so that we can have it all?
Okay, so I think first of all, it's very important for us to understand the various roles we occupy in our various lives.
Okay.
So I always push for role definition.
Okay.
So when you take yourself, what are the different roles you occupy, in your life? So for example, you mentioned the role of a mother. All right. So that role of a mother, how are you faring in that role? Okay. Your strengths, your weaknesses. You have to understand what you need in that role. You have to understand what you need, okay, and what you are lacking that you need to be.
Hi, people. Can you hear me? Is it from my end? I think there's a
Yes,
freeze.
I can hear you.
Okay,
Can you hear me?
great. We can hear you. Yeah.
All right. Should I go back or I could go
Yeah.
ahead?
You were talking about needing to understand what you need.
All right. I was talking about role definition.
Okay.
As an individual, it's very important for you to identify the various roles you occupy. Okay. So you mentioned the role of, let's say, a single woman and a single mother, isn't it?
Yeah.
So this is somebody who is a mother and she's also a career woman. And because she's a single mother, she's probably not getting, that support of having, a present father, or let's say a father figure in the home. So she probably has to play some aspects of being the fatherly role. But it's important for her to understand what she's lacking in her role as a mother, so that she can create an awareness for herself and find out ways she can meet those needs. And then on the career front as well, you are not superwoman. You're not going to kill yourself trying to, do all the work. You have to be able to ask yourself, what do I value when it comes to work? And a lot of people fail to understand that valuing work-life balance, a proper work-life balance, is actually the way to go. Killing yourself on the job is not going to help you. So you have to look for very effective and strategic ways to be able to manage and organize yourself in all the roles, so that you can meet work demands, and then also you can meet your relationship demands. I'm talking in this case of a mother. And then the same with what do you call it? A partner. That is where values play a very big role. If you are with a partner who values work and respects that you're a career woman and knows that sometimes you may have to prioritize work over him, it doesn't mean I don't love you, but I have to do this for the sake of work. Communication alone will solve the problem. So in the case of the date we're talking about, you call this partner, you explain, and he's like, oh, okay. But a lot of people fail to look out for those compatibility when they are trying to connect with people. So later down the line, it may become a problem.
Okay.
So we should look out for those balances when we are looking for jobs, and then also when we are looking out for partners. Because some companies actually have strategies or have things in place to help, single working mothers.
But coach, are you saying then that bias is not there from the company side? Because I tend to see a lot of bosses glorify working overtime, working all hours, and then you go to work on Monday and they'll be like, oh, this guy was working all weekend, thank you so much, and it's like those people that are doing extra time are the ones that are praised or seen to be dutiful. Isn't there a gap on the part of since you are here, the HR and the other people that are sort of like the overseers of us who are in the work environment, where I was telling one HR person that I think that we need to also make loud those who are having a balance. Like somebody who can tune out. People go on leave and they can't be on leave. They feel like they need to, at least respond to an email here and there, answer a phone call here and there. So what can HR or what can our overseers do so that it will support people like that? I mean, it's a bit of a deviation from our main topic. We had you to talk about work-life balance, but I think it's still a very big area.
Personally, I don't even think it's a deviation.
Okay.
Because if you are talking about personal growth, okay, if you've identified, your plan for your life, okay, and you're setting out, let's say, your long-term goal, and you know that one of the goals you have is to become a mother and to become a wife, what I would expect you to do is seek out opportunities that would help you thrive in those things. So you will look out for organizations that have cultures that would help you as a mother. Organizations that have values that align with your personal values. So that you don't end up in an organization where they are very stereotypical, like, like you said, told by yes when it comes to women, number one. So for example, you are pregnant is a problem. You go on maternity leave, it's as if that's the end of the world. You come back from maternity leave and it feels like you've lost your job. So it's up to you, the individual, to identify your needs, your career needs. What do you want out of your career? Don't go with the flow. Be the flow, so that okay, yes, a lot of people are going with the flow. So you end up in a culture that is working against you, and you can't even leave because you haven't built resilience. You haven't built a resilient spirit such that you're like, you know what, I'm giving myself 6 months or a year, I'm leaving this job because it's not contributing to my mental health, it's not helping my emotional well-being, and it's not helping me, push my value of family. So these are some of the things you want to look out for. Sometimes when the company's culture is stuck in their ways, there's nothing you can do as an individual. There are some HRs, unfortunately, who do all the things that you itemize that they do. Unfortunately, there are some work cultures that are like that. So it's up to you, the individual, to seek out organizations that will support your vision for your career. And that is where prioritizing your personal growth comes in. Because now you prioritize things like your career and work towards finding opportunities that align with what you want out of life.
So you don't need to be stuck somewhere. And I think this brings me to my next question about sorry, mistakes that people make when they are trying to pursue their personal growth. One thing that comes to me easily is feeling like you need to stay this course, because that is where, like, you have a degree. How can you go and open a shop? You went to medical school. How can you decide that you want to bake? That kind of thing. I think that's one of the big mistakes that people make. What are some of the other mistakes that people make in their pursuit of personal growth?
Okay, so the very first one, I think I've already spoken about it, but let me bring it up again. Failing to identify their needs. Okay, some people don't even know what they need. So they are just, living other people's aspirations. They are living other people's. They have adapted other people's goals. Let me put it that way, and they don't know what they need. There are lots of career professionals like that. You ask them, they are just working. They are existing. They wake up and go to work, but really they don't know what they are doing. And it surprises you. It's no surprise because our system is built that you finish school, you do your national service, and probably where you did your national service determines your career trajectory. People don't fight against that because they don't have a plan. So that's the other mistake. A lot of people do not have a plan for their, career growth or even their personal growth. And for those who even have a plan, most of the time it's not personalized. It's not personalized. So they do what I call the copy and paste approach to, career growth or career development. They see somebody doing something and then they think, okay, maybe this will work for me. Let me also go and do a master's in oil and gas. Let me also go and do, this. They don't sit down and ask themselves, why do I want to do this? Where do I see myself going? How do I want to get there? So that's another mistake. And then another mistake.
On that, coach, do we have that luxury in this country, given how scarce jobs are and all that?
That is the more reason why you need to plan You see, I tell people that your career starts the moment you start school.
Okay.
The moment you start school, in level 100, your career has started. Your career does not begin when you graduate from school. It starts from level 100. So you start planning, you start exploring. And that's where a lot of people seem not to want to go into the exploration phase. They think, oh, once I finish school, I'm going to land a great job and that's it. No, you have to explore. You have to put yourself out there. That is where you find out about yourself. That is where you make mistakes and then you realize, okay, I thought I was suited for this, but I think no, I'm more suited for that. So people don't give themselves that room to learn all of those things about themselves. And then you finish school, you are looking for jobs. Your value is not as high as another person who puts in so much effort into building value, and then there's a problem. Because if I'm an employer, I'm going to go for somebody who's giving me value. Okay, so that is, I think, where sometimes the problem also starts from.
But on that, coach, how can at level 100, what are some of the ways that you can try to explore how
Okay. I always say that the best form of exploration is self-exploration. If you will not do anything at all, explore yourself. Find out about yourself. Who are you? What is your purpose? What is your place in this life? Why are you here? Because at least that will give you a sense of direction. Okay? And then you're in level 100. You're studying a course. Explore that course. Explore the industry.
Okay.
What's that industry about? What do I need to be able to, function very well within the industry? Start building your soft skills. Your soft skills will not grow on trees and for you to go plug. It's something that you keep building. Communication skills, even up to now, we are still learning communication skills because it doesn't end. Learning adaptability, it doesn't end. Soft skills are the things that would actually make you better at your job. Emotional intelligence. So you can start from that point where it's not technical. Because I'm still in school, I'm yet to get that technical degree. But I can start building that other side, which is the interpersonal growth. Okay, so there's always a point for growth and learning.
I think other ways to now, thanks to the era of social media, you can go online and learn anything. Like I was saying, Coach Dickson is putting out a lot of content for free that you can leverage on. There's also the opportunities for, at University of Ghana, there were career guidance fairs and all that. I'm sure there are a lot of institutions doing that. So that's another way that you can figure out if really even what you are studying at that time is something that you really want to pursue. And I think you can also talk to industry professionals. It might not even be what you're studying, but just to get a feel of, okay, what's your job about, what's, so that you can really, as part of your self-exploration, know whether this thing might be suited for me or not. Somebody is asking, can't others inspire us? When we talked about the copy and paste thing, I'm sure that's where the question is coming from. So can't others inspire us?
There is nothing wrong with others inspiring. That's why there is a need for you to explore mentoring. So you can even have a mentor who gives you the guidelines, helps you with the blueprints. But when I talk about the copy and paste approach, you are unique in your own self. When you become very copy and paste kind of, you forget to become very. You forget that you also have something to offer. There is something unique in what you bring to the table. So if you don't allow yourself to explore it, you miss it. So take what you can. Let that be your drawing board, but you add to it. Let that be your canvas, but add yours to it. So you can seek inspiration from others, but in terms of the direction of where you're going, you have to ask yourself, where am I going? It's like going to a bus station and then somebody's boarding a car to Takrady and you're also boarding the car to Takrady. What are you going to do in Takrady? The person is going for a program. What are you going to do in Takrady? So the reason why I said, let's not be too copy and paste. To ask yourself, why do I want to follow this path? It is very vital for you to know your motives, your intent. So intentionality is very, very key.
Yeah. Okay, thank you so much. What are some of the other mistakes, if there are any others that people make in their pursuit of?
I think one of the biggest mistakes people make is comparison. Comparison. One of the things that we need to realize about growth is that growth, I think we even mentioned it earlier, growth varies. We all don't, grow at the same rate. Sometimes you can even plant corn in the sand, and then they all don't grow, at the same rate. So it's the same with our growth. But you find that a lot of people jump jump into the comparison mode, forgetting that it's not about competition, it's about your growth. If you have a plan, you go back to the drawing board and ask yourself, okay, the goals I have set, am I meeting them? If I am, if I'm on course, then that's fine, because it looks like, based on my timetable for my life, I'm on course. If I'm not, what is the problem? What is the problem? Why am I not meeting my career targets like I want to meet them? And then also another thing a lot of people fail to do is that they get stuck in what they know. So there's no openness to learning. Okay, and that comes with having a very fixed mindset. So you meet somebody, and they've not added value to themselves, let's say in the past 5 years of being in their career. So they don't know what's going on in the industry they belong to. Whatever trends are new, they have no idea. They haven't built themselves up. They don't belong to any professional body, and that can be very. It can stunt your growth. It can really stunt your growth. So it's very important that as a career person, you are open to learning, because that's where you keep adding value to yourself. Okay.
Wow, these are powerful. Coach, would you not say also the problem of when it comes to especially relationships where there are stereotypes, like the woman is the one to stay at home, or the one is the one to spend more time with the kids? Not that I subscribe to that, but those kind of stereotypes where, oh, you're a woman, you want to be an engineer, you want to go on an oil rig, don't you think some of those things also make people stuck and not, you know, especially if you don't have a lot of self-awareness or self-motivation, you kind of become stuck, like, okay, let me let my man do it. Is that not something to?
Okay, yes, I agree. Sometimes assigning gender roles,
Yeah.
or the whole stereotype,
Yeah.
thing when it comes to certain careers. Okay, so you're an engineer. I know somebody who is an engineer. She talks about how uncomfortable it can sometimes be when you are the only female on an oil rig and it's just men. And if you're not careful, the person may not be able to cope anymore. And the next thing you know, they are transitioning into another career. So it's very important that when you're trying to build a career, you build capacity on all fronts. You have to understand the industry you're going into. So, for example, this industry is a very male-dominated industry. So one of the things you want to do for yourself is seek mentoring. Get a mentor, somebody to encourage you, somebody to hold your hand, and then get a coach. A cheerleader. This coach is going to, make sure you're accountable, to something. Set goals. You're accountable. Where you want to, give up, the coach is going to say, nope, you're not giving up. Let's do this. It's very, very important. That comes with intentional planning, because once you're going into that industry, having that awareness is key. And that's where I talked about earlier, intentionality. Okay, so for example, let's reverse it. It's like nursing. In Ghana, nursing is a very female dominated, work sector.
Yeah.
And you find that when we meet male nurses, we also have our own sometimes preconceived notion.
You think that, is he a doctor?
Because that's the thing. Because sometimes people expect that area is for the women. So if you're going to be in the medical, you might as well go and be the doctor and leave the woman to be the nurse. It's up to us to break those stereotypes. So I always say that once you are a career person, you are an ambassador, you are a crusader. So once you find yourself in such a situation, you must be the change that you want to see. So if you want to be the one to break the glass ceiling, break it, and let us other women be so proud to know that, wow, this woman is in a male-dominated field and she's doing the work, and we want to come and join her. And that comes with, really prioritizing your personal growth and then also your career growth.
Yeah, the glass ceiling, we see it, but it's now about breaking it. Nobody wants their ceiling coming down on them, so there's a lot of talk, but no action.
I know.
Yeah. Yeah, these are great. These are great. And if you just joined us, we are talking to Coach Dickson. She is a certified counselor and a career coach. And she is on Instagram. You need to follow her right away, like right now, because she's putting out a lot of content that are valuable, especially if you want to do something with your life. You need to follow her. Like, I'm not joking. You need to follow her. And we've been talking about nurturing personal growth in career and relationships. And she's been giving us some gems. This video will be on replay. Watch it. Watch it from the beginning so that you don't miss any of this, because she's giving it out for free. Coach, I'm coming to our last question before we let you go. So if you have any questions, please add it before she gets off the session. What are some of the misconceptions that people have with regards to personal growth? Like, oh, personal growth should look like this. Personal growth should look like that, whether in our career or our relationship. Like, what are some of those misconceptions that people have?
Okay. So first of all, there is no prescription and there is no formula for personal growth. Okay. If you were to be drawing a graph, personal growth will not look like this.
Yeah.
It may look like this. You may have somebody's personal growth being a very topsy-turvy thing, but then in all of the topsy-turviness, they find themselves and they meet the growth they are looking for. So one of the misconceptions we have is that growth has to look very, let me say,
uphill,
attractive. No.
Yeah.
Yes. Growth sometimes is not. Growth can be so full of failures. You can be failing and failing and failing, but you're growing and you're building resilience. You're learning about yourself. And the next thing you know, you become so good, and that's where the growth mindset comes in. So it's very important for us to know that there is no cookie cutter approach to growth. It's different for all of us.
Yeah.
But self-awareness helps you to know when you're growing, even when you're failing. Wow, I'm growing, I'm learning. So that's one misconception that people have. And then also there is no expiry date to growth. Okay, when it comes to growth, there is no expiry date. Some people give up on themselves too easy because they feel like when they hit a certain age and they haven't achieved, let's say, particular things, then that's the end. So the show is over. They give up. No, life is not like, if you have a growth mindset and a positive attitude to life, you don't see it that way. You call the shots. Like I said earlier, you are the flow. So you determine the course of your life. Okay, so you challenge yourself. So there's no expiry date. You have to ask yourself, what do I want out of life? Okay, I haven't gotten it now. How can I press on towards it? What mistakes have I made? How can I learn from it? How can I become a better version of myself? So that's all growth is about. Becoming better than you were yesterday. Yeah. Another misconception I would say, I've talked about it. We've talked about it, but I think I should hammer on it.
Okay.
Growth does not look the same for Abena as it looks for Akosia or as it looks for Kojo. Growth is very, very different for everybody. So don't go trying to adapt somebody's growth as your growth. Somebody may take 10 years to hit growth. Somebody may take a year to hit growth. But I will shock you, the person who took 10 years may have impact that the other person may not have. So as much as possible, let's focus on our growth process and keep, going at it till we hit the level we want to hit.
It's really never too late for any of us, and it is not the same for each of us. So please, let's remember that it's a new year. I know that we're all excited and we're all full of vim, like, hey, we're going to do great things. This is your reminder that even if it doesn't happen in January, keep going, because what is growth for you is different from what is growth for Coach Dickson. Yes. Okay. So before I come to our last, like any general advice you have for all of us on the live session, I'd quickly like to acknowledge our sponsors again: Beauty Within Haven, Original Borai, Volta Matte, Fragrances and More GH, Picture Magic, Apavon Concepts, Unite Catering Services, Wild West African, Poundswell, Triple Tree GH, G Sports, and Dread Events. Thank you so much for helping us bring this conversation. Coach, any final words to us, any general advice to us? I mean, all that you've said, if we end here, you have given us more than enough to run with for like 30 years. But any final words to us?
All right. So my final word would be that, one, I always say that you are all you've got. I mean, you have support. I mean, one of the mistakes, I didn't even talk about it, a lot of people fail to build support systems, okay? But your primary support system is yourself. If you can't become a source of encouragement for yourself, you can't become a source of, power, empowerment for yourself, you realize that you struggle. So you have to first try to build yourself, okay, in every aspect, mentally. Mental health is very, very important. I always say that a lot of things happens up here, okay, so it's very important that we really protect our mental health. One of the ways you can protect your mental health is to develop your mindset. So please, let's develop our mindset. I always ask my clients, what mindset do you choose to work with in this year? So every year you tell yourself, in this year, this is the mindset I'm going with. I'm going with a growth mindset. I'm going with a positive mindset, so that when things are happening, you're not going to look at it as glass half empty. I'm going to look at it as glass, half full. So please pick a mindset you want to walk, the whole of 2024 with, and then also please protect your mental health. And at the end of the day, remember that growth comes in the bits and pieces. It can also come as a rush, but whichever way it comes, learn what you need to learn. That is when growth has occurred. Growth occurs when learning occurs. So please, let's learn what we need to learn. That is when growth occurs. Yeah.
And like you just be hit all over and you will not be growing.
Exactly.
Okay, amazing. Golda says growth. Exactly. And Fina says thank you so much for just she just said thank you. This again for Thank you so much, everybody, for joining us. This has been a session with Coach Dickson of Career Hub, and she's been amazing. Coach, we will share the replay, and I believe that even many more people will enjoy it. So thank you so much for spending this time with us. Yes, we look forward to having you again. Have a good evening. Thank you all, and enjoy your evening.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.